Hello, how is everyone doing today? So super glad to be here with you. I My name is Darla Delane, and I help powerhouse women who want to scale their business and rock out their life be able to do that. And it seems that at this time, it's even more important than ever for us to discuss some of these topics. So today I am going to be covering being efficient, how to continue to have efficiency. I did a training the other day and we talked about uncertainty, and the truth is that there's always uncertainty. We just have learned to live with our efficient structures and systems, and we have this false sense of certainty going on. So these awesome structures and systems now are being tested, and this can be a really good thing in that it allows you to really take a deeper look at what you're doing, why you're doing it, when you're doing it, and see if it is the most efficient use of your time and if you're being productive. So those two words are really super important to me. I am majorly obsessed with time and majorly obsessed with productivity. And efficiency is where these two cross. This is the crossroads of these two. So I've got my little whiteboard I did this morning and got super excited about this. So I'll be referring to make sure I hit on my points. This is going to be a little more classroom than usual, but I think it's really important for you to understand what efficiency is and where it comes from, so that you can be sure you're following the steps that will ensure that for you. During this time, we still want to grow our businesses and scale them. We still want to be growing teams. We still want to be having a life. And because this is the day we have, and it's not any more evident to us than right now how precious our time is and what we're actually doing with our time. So let's talk a little bit about efficiency. So I said efficiency is where time and productivity come together. So when you're being efficient, it is looking at the data or the, looking at how long it takes you to do something. So the data of the amount of time it takes you to fulfill a task or have something completed. So there's some outcome you want, and you want to be most efficient in getting it there. Even if it's something you're loving doing it, you want to do it in the way that is most efficient for you. We've talked about time before, in that in time we don't want to waste it. We do like to enjoy it. So even in being efficient, we can be enjoying our time better. And so it's how long it takes you to finish something. And then the productivity is, what are you actually doing? What is the actual action that you are doing in that time? That is how you decide on your efficiency. So you've got your time and how long you do it, and your productivity in what you're actually doing. Well, where does what you actually do come from? So that comes from a thought you have that then your body then reacts to, right? So you think, if I'm going to get up and go to the door, if I say, oh, I need to go get a drink of water, then my action, my brain says, well, stand up and go to the door. Like, that becomes my action from that thought of what I need to do to get my glass of water. Right now, be more efficient to reach over here. But that may be the action. And my mind says, oh, you don't need to get up and go. You can get your glass right here, right? So it comes from a thought. So all of our actions originate with a thought, we think, that has us do that thought. And we can either have these thoughts come from something that's proactive or reactive. And this comes from whether you've made a decision about this outcome. Remember, we talked about the outcome. So it's how long you do something and what you're doing to reach this outcome. So it depends on this decision or choice, whether you're just letting cause-effect choices throw in front of you, or whether you've made a real decision about it, will guide the thought. All right? So it goes all the way back to where you've made your decisions affects the efficiency of how you're getting something done, right? So where does a decision come from? Well, we make a decision out of one or two places. We either make it from what we really know we love, this kind of almost spiritual space, this soul space, this what's all a yes and a love and a knowing and a happy, you know, it's like it's all a good for everyone space. We either make it there in this love for yourself and everyone and everything and knowing there's, you know, plenty in that kind of space of all is possible, or we make it from a place of fear. And fear is where very little is possible. It affects your control. It affects everything, right? It is your brain working on your past thoughts. That's where fear comes from. It's just based on your past data you put into your brain about what's ever happened in the past. So if you are reacting from fear, then you're going on shoulds and you're going on looking around and you're in this fight, flight, or freeze moment, and you're making your decisions on what your thought is, on what you actually do, and how long it will take you to get this outcome that you want, right? And so coming from fear is less productive. It is not going to be efficient. I can guarantee that coming from a place of fear is less efficient. Now, there are instances that you have already made a decision about that your brain does super fast that looks like fear. For example, you step into a street to cross the street, you hear a car honk its horn, and you look and you see a car and you jump back. Well, that came from a decision a long time ago that you want to stay alive, right? Out of love for yourself and everyone around you. And so your brain knows you have that decision. Oh, she wants to stay alive. This action is going to be something we need to do very quickly, and we need to move our body back. So it didn't really come from fear of being run over. It came from a love of wanting to be alive. Make sense? All right, so because that would be the most productive thing to do is to jump out of the way of the car. So coming from fear is, I mean, you can't think clearly when you're in fear. You are just grabbing, and I think we all have a excellent example of this when we look at the toilet paper situation in our country right now. That is a decision made solely from fear. Now, the hoarding of it. I went to the store the other day because my family actually needed some and there wasn't any there. And so then I had to think of some other actions that I've got to do. But hoarding something that is not going to get you your outcome. So what is the outcome that people that are coming from fear and hoarding water bottles and toilet paper, what is their fear? So their outcome is, I want to stay alive and I want to have all the comforts I'm used to. That may be a decision they made in love a while back, that they like the comforts they have and they want to stay alive. And so in this moment of fear, they are looking at choices in front of them about how to stay alive and keep their comforts. Now, at this moment, this fearful action they're taking has caused another problem that we will all need to be dealing with, and that's how we get our toilet paper, right? So this action coming from a thought, coming from a place of fear, is not the most efficient for them. It's not the best way to keep themselves alive or to keep their comforts, because the more they hoard it, the less likely there will be toilet paper later when they need it. So that's not really a wise, smart, love decision for themselves, and it definitely is not coming from love for other people. And when we make a decision that's a full-on yes out of that space of love that will have us move forward, it's always a love for the people, other people as well. And so that is coming from a place of fear, right? So it's not good for all. And so if we want to stay alive and have our comforts, it might be, oh, I have 2 weeks. What would I need for comfort in these 2 weeks? Stay alive might be, do I have the at-home health remedies that I think will keep me healthy? So those two would come from a decision of love for themselves and others, that they get what they need for that time period, and then they move forward in it, and that would be much more efficient. So would the lines be as long? No. Would we all be able to have what we need? I had to go to 4 different stores. That's not very efficient for me or other people around us, because people are making decisions out of fear. This works for your business as well. It's like looking at what you're doing. Are you saying something or doing something in your marketing because you have fear, because you're afraid that you won't have money or someone won't see it or whatever, and you're going from that place? That energy is that good for everybody? No, it's not good for you or your client, right? So if your outcome is always, I want to have what's good for my company, my business, have it be financially stable, have me doing what I love to do, and my clients getting what they need, now I make decisions from there. You're coming from that place of love. Now you're going to make decisions from there. Great. Now your thoughts come from there. Great. Now your actions do, and you're doing better actions in shorter periods of time because you are coming from this different space. Your brain is also very frantic when you are coming from fear. And so if you're afraid about your business, or you're afraid about the people in your home, if you're really fearful, you will do busy work. You'll find yourself doing busy work. You will re-clean the same thing. You will overcook too much food. You will do things that are not really efficient for yourself and for the people that you love. So coming from this place of a decision out of love, out of what is a yes, what is this outcome you really want that'll be good for you and everyone around you, coming from there and then having a thought that leads to an action is going to be a lot more productive for you, a lot less time, therefore more efficient. All right, so now how do you know if you're coming from fear or if you're coming from love? This is what's so awesome about our emotions, because they are the signal. They let you know right away, where are you acting from? If you are making an action or doing an action and you are feeling anywhere from content about it to a little bit better, then it's coming from a place of love. Therefore, your action will most likely be one that is more productive, and your time will be more better spent, right? So this is the awesome thing about emotions and why it's important for you to feel them and know where you are with it. If you look at emotions, it's like a list of from highest emotion down to the lowest that we might have. And the baseline would be this line of content. Content is right above that. Right below the line is boredom, which we may all be running into very soon as well. And so your job becomes, notice how I'm feeling. That tells me whether I am coming from a place of fear or whether I'm coming from a place of the opposite, which we will call love, where I'm coming from a place of what's going to be productive for me or one that's not, something that's going to be more efficient for me or not. Then there's variances of that. So like if you're down at the very bottom and you're in hopeless, you can't really get out of the bed. If you get to angry, if you feel a little better, you'll feel angry. Angry is a lot more productive than hopeless is, right? Because then you're up and out of the bed and you're doing things and stuff's happening. So as you move yourself up this energetic scale, you will become more efficient. You will become more productive. You'll use your time better. And as you get more and more above the line, the clearer your ideas are that come to you. The more your actions are inspired, which don't take as much brain work. You get them all in one swift swoop in of a clear vision of how you're going to do something, rather than tediously going through each step at a time. So those of you that have businesses that are really affected in the way that you work them, now is the time to work on doing what you need to do to see where you are emotionally, raise that emotion, feel better, feel better, feel better, and then work on how can I find a solution to what I love to do that will bring me a livelihood, where I'm still doing what I love, that will work within the system that's happening right now? What do I have at my disposal? How could I do this differently so that I still get what I need, and then I can also be sure the people around me are getting what they need? Where can I come from this space of love and be more productive and have more time, and therefore be more efficient in what my outcome is, which is an abundant, healthy, wealthy life, right? Like that's where we're headed. Everyone wants plenty of money to do what they need and have what they need. They also want to have plenty of health, and they want plenty of love. So when I have all this abundance of this, then I am really an efficient, productive member of society, right? So in review of this, efficiency comes from how long it takes to do something, our time, and what we're actually doing, that productivity of it. And when you put those two together, you see how efficient you are. What you do, your action, comes from a thought, and that thought comes from a decision that you've either made or just a choice you're throwing at it. When we make good, solid decisions that we're very clear about, we have a very centered feeling, we're very calm, we feel very energized, we're organized, we are very centered. That comes from a space of this energy of love for all, for myself, for everyone around me, so we all get what we want. Win, win, win. Those decisions have you feeling much better. So you know you're coming from a place of that. Then your thoughts and your actions are coming from there. You're much more efficient because your productivity is higher, and you're not using, your time is better used in whatever way that you want that. When you are in a place of fear, then you're frantic, you're not making good decisions for everyone concerned, you can't think clearly about what's going on, you're less productive. And how do you know if you're coming from fear? You can listen to your emotion and see where you are on that, and then work on getting just a little better, a little better. Even if you're at a low emotion, feeling a little better is going to make you more effective and more efficient. And efficiency is this piece of our life that allows us to do more of what we love to do with the people we love to do it with, and really be making our difference with our purpose in the world. This is what we want all along. All right, hope this was helpful for you. Everybody stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, stay in love. This is Darla Delane. Bye.